Hello class 9. Last week we had started this chapter, economic importance of bacteria. So introduction was given there. Now today's class we are going to study about the structure of bacteria, okay, and its functions, different parts and its function. Then the reproduction in bacteria. Okay, so here the picture, you can see this is a bacterial cell. Okay, this is how a bacterial cell looks like. Okay, now please refer the diagram when I'm explaining you. Bacterial cell, you know that they are unicellular organism. They are made up of single cell, one cell. The cells, it is surrounded by a non-living cell wall. Okay, which encloses the cell membrane and the protoplasm. This cell wall, it is made up of peptidoglycan and not of cellulose. In plant cell, yes, one characteristic of it, we have discussed that like plant, they have cell wall. Okay, but always remember that in plant cell, the cell wall, they are made up of cellulose. Okay, and that is not same as in a bacterial cell. Bacterial cell, the cell wall, they are made up of peptidoglycan. Please remember that. Okay, along with this, you can see just above the cell wall, okay, there is a layer, shiny layer, which is known as capsule. Here you can see there, reddish color, no? They are the capsule. Then yellow, they are the cell wall. Third layer, the greenish structure, they are the plasma membrane. Okay, the capsule, the shiny, the outermost layer, they are known as the capsule. And it protects the bacterial cell. Always remember the cell wall, they are permeable for water. It allows only water to pass through it. But it does not allow larger molecules of protein to pass through it. Okay, so you can see the cytoplasm also there, the fluid there inside the cell. It is surrounded by a plasma membrane, the greenish layer, okay, which acts as differentially permeable membrane, controlling the movement of certain substances in and out of the cell. Plasma membrane, they are also permeable. Okay, they act differently, okay, controlling the movements of substances to pass through it in and out of the cell. This bacterial cell, it lacks nucleus, Golgi complexes, mitochondria and lysosomes. So they are absent here. Okay, so except mitochondria, you can see there mitochondria here, you all know it is a site of respiration. Okay, so you might be thinking, if mitochondria is absent, how do they respire? So for that, they have a special site, okay, so which is placed within the plasma membrane. Okay, so that is responsible, that the place that is present in the plasma membrane, it helps in respiration of the bacteria. Okay, so you can see the cell organelles that are present there. Only plasmid is present there, a cell wall is present there, ribosomes, they are present there. Yes, and the DNA materials are present there. They do not have a well-developed nucleus also, you can see there. Okay, so most of the cell organelles are absent here. Okay, the cytoplasmic area, okay, of the protoplast, it is granular in appearance. You can see, small grain like structures are there present. Okay, that is why it is granular in appearance. It contains granules of glycogen, protein, fats and ribosomes. Okay, the genetic materials are contained in the DNA molecule. You can see DNA there. The DNA, it is also known as bacterial chromosome here. Okay, and you can see the plasmid there, no? They are smaller rings of DNA. Okay, you can see the DNA there, no, string like structure bundled together. They are the genetic material carriers, and just at the side of that you can see small structures. Okay, rings of DNA only. They are known as plasmid. Okay, so this is the main structure of the bacterial cell. Okay, and you should know its functions also. The cell wall, it protects the cells and gives shape to it. Okay, the cell membrane, it regulates the movement of the material in and out. It contains enzymes also, okay, which is important for the respiration of the cell, cellular respiration we call it. Okay, the cytoplasm, it contains, you can see, it contains DNA, ribosomes, yes or no, and organic compounds which is required for the bacteria to carry out its life process. Okay, so chromosome, you can see, they are the carriers of genetic information, okay, that are inherited from its past generation. Okay, capsule and the slime layer, they protect the cell and assist attachment to the cell to other surfaces. Okay, so bacteria, they get attached to other bodies, no? So with this capsule and the slimy layers, it helps them to get attached to other organisms also. Okay, then comes the pilus or the pili, hair-like cells attached there. You can see there, no? This assists the cell in attaching to other surfaces, which is important for its genetic recombination. Okay, and tail-like structure, flagella, we call it flagellum. Okay, it helps in the movement of the cell. Hope you have understood now. Yes, so please refer your text also for this. Now comes the reproduction in bacteria. As you all can see, this process here, what is happening? One single cell, it is divided into two. No? See, you can see the structure. Yes, mother cell dividing into two daughter cells here. So this process is known as binary fission. So usually you should remember that bacteria, they most of the time they reproduce asexually. In some cases they reproduce sexually also. So I'm going to explain that. So this picture, it refers binary fission. Okay, the splitting into two daughter cells. So fission, two. Binary means two. Fission means splitting. Okay, so you see, most bacteria, they reproduce asexually. Okay, asexual reproduction in bacteria by binary fission, okay, that occurs usually in favorable conditions. So during fission, what happens? This bacteria, it divides into two. Cell division is preceded by the duplication of the DNA that is present inside there. You can see single cell, the cell expands and the DNA duplicates there. No? Duplication of DNA. It occurs through duplication of DNA. Please remember that. So this bacterium, it grows and its nucleus enlarges due to the DNA duplication. The two DNA is pulled apart by into two sides. You can see now it is splitting up. Okay. There is a constriction in the cell wall. You can see cell wall, the outer layer. No. So what is happening? There's a gap being created there. Constriction we call it. Okay. So this constriction of the cell wall divides the cytoplasm also into two. Okay, it separates a single bacterium into two daughter cells. Okay, so this way, in this condition, this bacteria, they divide very fast. Okay, so some bacteria may take 30 minutes to divide into two also. So you can imagine how fast they reproduce. Okay, so this is what binary fission is. Okay, then comes the now next process. Here you can see it is known as endospore formation. Okay. Now, endospore formation is not a method of reproduction by bacteria. It is rather a means to protect themselves under unfavorable conditions. They are protecting themselves. It's not actual reproduction here. Okay. So under favorable conditions, certain bacteria, okay, uh, they produce spores within the cell wall. You can see the cell wall and spores on the cell wall. You can see there, no? Small granules like structure. They are the spores. Okay, now what happens here? These are known as endospores. These endospores, they have great resistance to low temperature and high temperature also. The pH changes. Okay, and also effects of chemicals also. So when favorable condition reoccurs, okay, these spores, they rupture, okay, and become active, and that is how a bacteria starts multiplying again. So this is how they form a new bacterial cell. Okay, so this in unfavorable condition, when the bacteria, they cannot reproduce, no, binary fission cannot occur, so most of the time, okay, due to some different kind of changes in the environment, due to different type of conditions. Okay, then as I told you all in the beginning, they also, in some cases, they produce sexually also. So you can see here, okay, sexual reproduction in bacteria occurs through conjugation. We call it conjugation. Okay, conjugation. This is an unusual form of reproduction in bacteria here. It is unusual, no? Conjugation. Okay, during conjugation, you can see the one bridge-like structure there. Did you see where the two bacteria are joining there? So during this process, bridge are formed between two cells. Okay, and what happens when this bridge is formed? The genetic materials, they also get exchanged. So exchange of genetic materials occur between the two bacteria. So that is how sexual reproduction occurs in bacteria. Okay, so this is the topic for today. We had to discuss the structure of bacteria and reproduction in bacteria. So hope you have understood it. Please refer your textbook also. Okay, thank you so much for listening to me.